And we've been joined by Joseph Kofi Frimpong Akable. He's here. Good morning to you, Kofi.
Good morning. Just Joseph for Akable should be fine.
Yeah, I know, right? I keep making the same mistakes. Shows how dumb I am.
No, these are not mistakes. You have been rather you're paying attention to detail. I mean,
great. Joseph Kofi Frimpong Akable.
Babs, I hope you're doing well.
I'm well. How are you?
Babs, how are you?
I'm good.
Great.
Yeah.
Today's a Friday.
No,
Thursday.
Yeah, tomorrow's a holiday.
I feel like it's a Friday.
Yeah.
For people who are not going to work tomorrow.
I know. You were at the court yesterday.
Yes, at the Supreme Court.
What were some of the highlights, notably beyond what you reported?
In terms of the numbers that made it to the courtroom, it wasn't very usual. In fact, the last time I saw this many people at the Supreme Court, it was during the Muntie 3 case. Okay. You remember that issue about the 3 journalists that dragged to court for contempt. That was when you had, so the Supreme Court has the inner perimeter, just the lower bottom. It also has an upper part where people sit. Both sides were full. You had more than 40 people outside the court, either standing right outside the door or on the compound itself, waiting for an opportunity to get in. But obviously they couldn't get in. The second issue that was also a bit different is the security presence. You had a lot of police officers coming in, and the reason maps is that this was a chieftaincy dispute that has raged on for 15 years. You've had people killed as a result. So the caution is that in the event it goes either ways, you may expect some scuffle if you don't have security presence available. So that was also provided within the court itself and outside the court premises. So in terms of the bit of difference that we may not have observed directly on the screens in the report, those were the 2 main issues that came up, Roland.
But the Supreme Court should settle it, right?
Yes, I mean,
hopefully.
It has spoken.
Okay. And I mean, it will not bring any other protestations or uprisings.
In terms of the legal aspects, it's exhausted. I mean,
no, I'm not talking legal. Maybe some people will still have pent-up feelings that they still need to occupy the skin.
It is. In fact,
did you see it from the atmosphere?
There was one gentleman that we tried getting an interview. He wouldn't speak to us on record, that is on camera, that's granted an interview. Yet the sense we got from interaction with him was to the effect that, I mean, this is a tough decision for them to accept. They disagree in entirety with the Supreme Court's position, and they feel that the Supreme Court, by granting legitimacy to one faction, may make it very difficult for the people to go back and commit to peace. That was his position. But later on, we heard their spokesperson come out formally to say that they are committed to peace. We are told by the MCE that they are going to have their security men, that is the police and the military and other security agencies, stationed at least for 2 weeks. But the fear is that beyond 2 weeks, what happens in the area? And that is.
I'm told they all come from the same lineage or something.
It's actually the same family. It's just one family. It's
so they are all Andani.
Not Andani, but there is a brother. So in that context, they have the gates. So both of them are from one gate, and it was their turn to reign that 2 families within that gate thought they were the rightful successors to that particular throne. The same gate.
They're supposed to choose one of the
families in the gate. Yes. So that was how this whole dispute came.
So Dasana and Andani has now
been legitimized. And what is interesting is that the 2 people who are in dispute, the 2 individuals have actually died. I mean, they died as far in 2014. The 2 individuals.
The 2 individuals
who the court pronounced one of them has been entitled to the skin. Both of them are dead. Okay, but what this decision means is that each of them has enskinned a regent. So currently, if you go to Bimbila, there are 2 regents.
So the regent will then make way for
so what it means now is that the regent that was enskinned by the Dasana and Dani family becomes the legitimate one.
Okay.
Whilst the other that was enskinned by the Nampana Dawuni family is illegitimate in simple terms.
He has to dismantle his castle.
Fortunately, he was not in the palace, and that is how come maybe we are seeing the peace that we are seeing currently, because the Dasana and Dani guys, they are already in the palace.
Okay.
But in the event,
they
were in the palace. Right? So in the event they were not in I mean, in the event they were not in the palace and this decision had come in, and the other group had to come and take over, you can expect them to rush and try to evict them forcefully. So that is also helps.
But it's good that it's
situation.
still on the front page. And you're doing the graphic front page.
The daily graphic, yes. Okay, so top story on page 3 is Nyantakyi granted bail. Yes, let's see if we can get a bit of that. So the Ghana Police Service has interrogated the president of the Ghana Football Association and commenced investigations into allegations of fraud against him. And it therefore urged any person with relevant information to contact the CID headquarters to assist with investigations into the matter. I don't know, Roland, what do you think about this?
You know, yesterday thinking through before I slept. And yesterday I slept quite early, but then woke in between and all that because I had calls. I just was reading some few things. I thought maybe the president should have taken the action that he did. The presidency, I mean.
Okay.
Maybe they should have allowed the journalist or the investigator to screen the thing, and then we can have some adequate basis as a public to come to some conclusions whether the actions of the president are warranted or really are important.
In fact,
Because I'm thinking there's a
Kukubaku.
certain spectrum, and the spectrum I mean is just to conceptualize to mean the duration and the content of the whole film of the investigation. I'm sure that the actions and the whole spectrum is going to indict many individuals and indict many actions that have been taken by those individuals in there. Now, we've made it to look like Kwesi Nyantakyi is a fulcrum or the thrust of the whole investigation by Tiger Eye. And in the process, we've vilified his name in such a way that I don't know whether, even if we go to the extent of redeeming his image, we're going to repair the harm that we've caused his image. Because whether somebody is guilty or not, or has undertaken some actions or not, I think it's only a court of law that can decide. And having the Deputy Chief of Staff coming to tell us that these are the lines or perhaps some of the things that they pick from it, and based on that they were preferring charges or asking the CID to investigate and prefer charges, I think was not enough. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal person. I used to be a court reporter like Joseph. I haven't been in a while. I only interact with lawyers, etc. So I don't know. I feel
I think it's a fair point to say that we don't really have much.
If I was Kwesi Nyantakyi in my position, I had corrupted, so to speak, based on public perception, society, and the position that I occupy. I don't know. Is that the best way we have to go? So of course we have to name and shame. So I don't know. It's just a chicken and egg situation.
But the fact is, it's too early. We don't really have enough information.
Because really, we don't even know the content.
And
today is the 24th.
Kukubaku say that more than 100 people are captured on tape.
Right.
He again goes on to say that what they showed to the president is not more than 5 minutes. He says what the vice president saw is no more than 3 minutes.
So 8 minutes. Again, we have 5 year.
So it's not. We don't have enough to.
We have 5 and 3.
Five
you know,
and
there
three,
was
so
5 million and 3 million.
3
also
million,
mentioned.
yeah.
I guess
Charlie, that number is serious.
$5 minutes, 3 minutes.
$5 million for each minute.
Yeah.
The Black Stars, have we lost any match by 5-3 margin before?
I should think so. I mean, I should think so.
Anyway,
let's
see how it pans out.
Yeah, let's wait.
I don't want to go and watch the premiere because now there seems to be too much tension around it. So I would want to watch it, but
I know many people who disagree. I mean, they want to see what is in the 2-hour footage, like I've been told. But on social media discussions, people are already once again questioning the methods that were used by.
My only difficulty is that it's drowned all this thing about Kelny, GVG, and all that. There's actions taken by the Ministry of Communications and the NCA. So
that's true. Unless there's instruction.
Looks like a good master stroke by the presidency to make Kwesi Nyantakyi a very good piece for all of us to be brooding over. But you have some other stories there?
All right, so page 16, Bimbula Chieftaincy crisis over. And on page 16 again, IMF lauds Ghana's economic performance. So those are the stories on the front page. If we go to the back, Kotoko silence sharks. So the Kumasi Santi Kotoko yesterday defeated visiting Elmina Sharks 2-0. And Inter Ali's deepen woes of WA All-Stars. So sports at the back of the daily graphic. Yeah, Inter Allies deepen woes of WA All-Stars.
On the front page of the Daily Guide, there's a photograph of former President John Dramani Mahama, and the story says, NDC spends 100 million cedi oil cash to buy votes. That is coming from Daily Guide. CID grabs Nyantakyi at Kotoka Airport, grilled for 5 hours. And the Daily Guide story suggests they caught a glimpse of him when he arrived. They described the attire he was wearing. They were told he was in no
pictures.
No, told he was in a blue suit with a white shirt under the coat. Landed at the CIA headquarters.
They could have started in the office and listened to Joy FM. I'm sure
11 a.m. yesterday, together with some officials of the association and his lawyer. So that is what the Daily Guide has. But that story about 100 million spent, oil cash spent to buy votes, it's on page 7 of the Daily Guide. It's coming from PIAC. We are told they've disclosed that more than 99.8 million cedi oil funds spent under a capacity building scheme by the Israel National Democratic Congress government were used to bribe voters to retain the party in the 2012 general elections. According to Dr. Steve Mantia, who chairs PIAC, he said that the capacity building was used as a smokescreen to pay off some voters, particularly young people. He was speaking at a public forum organized by his outfit at Bechim, a capital of Tano South municipality of the Bonahafo region, on the management of petroleum revenues and utilization from 2011 to 2017. I recall they came out with some issue about some ghost projects that were taking place in the 3 northern regions. In that instance, he mentioned that they had forwarded their information to the Auditor General. They are working with him, and if need be, it goes to the Special Prosecutor. Fine. I hope that is what they are doing in this particular case. Very often than not, we tend to accuse people when we are not really ready to follow through to ensure that we justify that accusation. So you throw it out there that all your revenue is not being used well, yet you are not ready to submit the evidence to the relevant authorities, so that if someone has indeed done that, I mean, I
think that's the problem we have largely in our country. We all tend to spew a lot of things because now we have the public space. So freedom of expression has now even been granted worldwide, so to speak. Social media, I don't know. It's just one of those things.
So that is it for the Daily Guide this morning. The center spread didn't show up today, so
nothing in the center spread. It's an advertorial.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's so sad.
Daily Guide wants to make some money from the center spread.
Yeah, I think so. Well, they're entitled. They need to pay themselves. So we have the Daily Dispatch newspaper. It has on the front page, Nyantakyi saga, Presidency explains breach of confidentiality. We have to protect the presidency. And the questions I kept asking, now we have a response. It's on the back page, Joseph. It says that journalist Kweku Bakun says he has protested the presidency's revelation of the content of the video presented to the president and his vice. The hastily organized press conference at which a deputy chief of staff, Samuel Abujinapo, announced the president had reported the GFA president to the police breached a confidentiality agreement, we're told, and all that. But, well, the presidency, we're told, has justified why they decided to do that. Kokubako in itself said that, well, no fatal injury as such has been caused.
His concern was the BBC element. He says they were partnering the BBC, and they are yet to even grab the video, so they've shown a little of it to the president. He said the BBC guys are even concerned because they've heard details. But
one of the justification one of the explanation he gave was that he said the presidency explained that they had to take the action because suggestions were being made, especially on social media, that the president and his vice were cited for wrongdoing the yet to be aired investigative video. So, you know, the speculation was rife. A number of personalities, I mean, were told ministers, past, present, and all that. So people were speculating. They even said, you know, even just yesterday said Kenny Japong had been cited. You can read from some of the online portals. So in order to protect the name of the presidency, of course, it includes the president and the vice president, they have to take the action. So we'll accept that explanation and go forward with it.
But others are also concerned about how Anas shows the video to some select people before it comes out. Their concern is that...
Well, I think that if the president or the presidency knows, there's nothing wrong with it.
But the position, yesterday I listened to an interview Alban Babin granted another platform, and his argument was that, I mean, if they see it before, is it the same material that we are going to see in the long term? We can never be sure of that. You never know.
Well, there's precedence, though, is there not? Because
there is,
in
but,
the judges...
but his suspicion is that, I mean,
it could be manipulated.
You never know. I mean, we can all
in the
hold
corridors of power.
we can all assume that, I mean, Anas is the most pious journalist around. We can always hold that assumption. But the fact is that he has the backing of the states. He can't do what he's doing if he doesn't have the state's backing. And these are the people that he has shown it to. So in the event someone raises concerns about someone who has been captured on tape, even before it goes out, will he be influenced? We've heard Kukubaku say he cannot be influenced, but those are still questions that we'll ask anyways.
We'll say hello. But we have the Business Finder.
The Business Finder, and on page 2, IMF businesses laud government for steering economy successfully. And another story on page 2 is textile piracy. So government wants Chinese factories in Ghana. Let's take a bit of that. So when these investors are able to invest by establishing textile companies in Ghana, it will create employment, generates the needed revenue, and help to stop Ghanaians who travel all the way to China to import pirated textiles. And this is from the Minister of Trade and Industry. So those are the stories on Business Finder, textile piracy, and IMF business lauds governments.
Can you identify an original textile when you see one?
No, I was about to say no.
You cannot?
I can't.
No, you get to know by the labels. Just beneath them, or are they ends? They have the labels there.
The people who are pirating them, don't they?
They do
put
it.
Those labels there as well?
No, they don't put.
They don't have the labels.
They don't put the original labels there. They don't. If it's GTP, they don't put GTP.
So you need to know the original label very well to identify.
Before you can identify.
So GTP, they have, I think, embossed logos and all that. We have some security features also have been put on the. They just pasted them on the. But I'm talking the edges. They don't put GTP.
I see.
I think they put some other high target and all that. But you see that the high target is the design is a GTP design.
I don't think I'll identify one when I see one.
Yeah, I know. But I think we all need to be observant to know. But the reality too is that it's a matter of the forces of competition. Because if you look at the various trends, there are various indicators that get to that will indicate to the customer to make a choice. And if the price is high, definitely. If I can have a replica of GTP and it's on the market, okay?
Yeah.
It's not the real GTP, but I can have a replica of GTP, which is a wax print. I'll buy the one that's cheaper.
So
I doubt even those who sell it will even say it's replica. They'll tell you this is GTP.
It's the real one, yeah.
No, you will know that it's not.
So if you don't know, like myself, they'll tell you that this is GTP. It's affordable.
Well, unless maybe you don't know. So, but if you know the way, but the thing is that if really we're committed to it, all this thing about the media is just wasting its time publishing all these, because who controls the entry points? It's government. Who takes taxes from the importers of the cheap textiles? It's government. Why do we worry ourselves to have tramadol as well as all these fake wax prints come into the system? And now we go use state resources to go and track them. It doesn't make sense. Prevention is better than cure. It's at the entry point. Each container is opened. You know the fabric inside, the type of fabric inside, the type of product that is in a container. If it is an illegal route, you know the illegal routes around the country, the boundaries we have. You know that you can police them or make sure you soldier them adequately and get the perpetrators of the culprit. All this thing we're doing is a facade. It's as if we don't know what's the cause of the problem. Yeah. We know. I don't know. We're just wasting our time, really. Just doing all these things where we know that definitely the thing comes illegally through the Tema port. It's not even illegally through the Tema port. The thing is that the thing that has been imported is just a fake one.
It's the fake one.
So you see it at the harbour, confiscate it.
And you let it in.
But you know you can't confiscate it because maybe some big man somewhere, some big importer imported it. Yeah. Some big man somewhere will let that large container, or maybe the number of containers just pass through. You pay his taxes and he's gone. When it comes to Makola, you're not coming to use the tax force, pay the people per diem for working on the sun. Not just wasting our time sometimes the way we do the things. I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? And we have to do majonline.com and the other online portals. So.
Just before that, so there's a story inside the Ghanaian Times, very interesting. A policeman in court for allegedly murdering friend over beer. Just a bit of that story. It says Chief Inspector.
Which of the beer? Star or beer club?
They don't mention the brand. It says the Chief Inspector Rosmina Bani told the court, presided over by Mr. Franklin Titus Glover, that while the policeman was in the company of his friends drinking beer at a spot at Ho, last Thursday, the deceased arrived at the scene while Constable Efrifa had stepped out to receive a phone call. When he returned to his seat, he saw the deceased gulping the remaining beer in the glass he left behind while he was answering the call. The court heard that Ajato's action angered the accused, who pushed the deceased, sending him onto the concrete floor unconscious, bleeding profusely from the nose and ears. He was rushed to the police station, but we are told he died. So he's taking his beer, he steps out, he comes back. The civilian is sipping the beer, and he quickly...
I think it was just, he was angry about something.
Not beer.
Not beer, and it just so happened that he was drinking the beer, pushed the guy, and that's how it happened.
Do you think it was not deliberate?
I don't think it was deliberate.
She finds it tough
That's
to
why the Bible says you shouldn't drink.
because
When you're drinking, sometimes you put yourself in trouble.
no, the Bible says don't get drunk.
Yeah, but the thing is that
You can drink.
well, no, but the thing is that there's a certain rationale. There's a certain rationale behind it, because you become incoherent when you're drunk.
Yeah.
So then it questions your commitment to God. You understand? So that's why. But even beyond the issue about the Bible, you're not supposed to be drinking because it's bad for your health. You are incoherent. You behave abnormally, etc. If you are with your,
I think don't drink excessively. You know, drink to be like just drink.
What's your best drink?
What's my best drink? I like champagne.
Champagne.
Yeah, I like champagne.
Well, you come from South Africa. You produce champagnes in South Africa,
Yes,
right?
we do. Yeah, sparkling wine. Yeah. Ghana
will produce akwateshi.
Yeah, and
it's a big problem.
South Africa.
Yeah, I know it.
South Africa won't say
bitters.
It's a developed. Well, wasting our time, Ghana.
Oh.
Anyway, let's go to myjohnline.com.
So R. Kelly says, "I'm handcuffed by my destiny."
Guy, he's always in the news.
Yeah, he's always in the news.
Since I was a teenager, he's always been in the news for
sexual
allegedly,
harassment.
Girls, teenagers.
Yeah.
You know,
all right.
I used to like him a lot. So
he had some good music. Some good music.
He's talented.
Yeah.
Extremely.
All right. So so hot audio.
It says Ghana legend Reverend Osei Kofi threatens massive demo against protecting corrupt FA officials. So it's a former Ghana Black Stars footballer. He says he will lead a demonstration if nothing happens to the corrupt officials captured on Anansi's tape.
And pregnant 71-year-old woman says she will soon become the world's oldest mother. A 71-year-old woman from Mexico claims she is 6 months pregnant and will soon give birth to a beautiful girl. This will make her the oldest mother in history. I don't think so. I think we've gotten like 80 years old. So I'm not sure.
80?
Yeah. I'm not sure if she's the oldest woman, the oldest mother. No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, if that's what the record is.
Okay, let's go to our next stories. So scientists extract pharmaceutical grade starch from cassava. So scientists at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have successfully been able to extract pharmaceutical grade starch from newly improved starch producing cassava varieties. You eat cassava?
I do.
You enjoy it?
It's cool.
Have you taken a cassava-based food in Ghana?
No, I haven't.
Fufu.
No.
So sticky, right?
It's not my thing. It's sour.
Yeah, so, okay.
Yeah.
What kind of staple do South Africans like?
We've got pap. Pap.
Made of?
It's like milli meal.
Milli meal.
Yeah.
What's milli meal?
So corn.
Corn. Maize.
Yeah, maize.
The one we have here.
Yeah, corn.
But you make it soft or what?
It's soft. You almost pound it, but not pound it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pap.
You stir it.
Yeah, you stir it.
And you take it with what?
Take it with stew. You can take it with milk.
Milk.
You can take it with eggs. Yeah.
Eggs.
Yeah, but like when you take it with milk, you cook it in a different way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you take it with the eggs.
You can take it with egg. You can take it with literally anything.
Yeah.
And everything.
What I say? It's culture.
I see. Arresting Nyantakyi is part of Akufo-Addo's diversionary tactics is coming from Johnson Esiri Nketia. He is the General Secretary of the opposition NDC.
So my
Nakpana family.
Have I taken Banco before?
Okay, let's do it.
Nakpana family sad but accepts Supreme Court ruling on Bimbila's skin.
Okay, let's move on.
All right, so 1983, when Gary tasted like needle. Okay.
1983, we had famine in Ghana.
Uh-huh.
So somebody like Joseph Akable would have been very bony than he is, or skinny than he is. He's not bony. Because his face is fleshy.
Maps is now looking at me. If not seen
yeah, I'm just trying to, you know.
And I would have been more bony than I am now.
But you're not bony.
I am, I think.
No, you're not. I think you're okay.
I'm okay.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1983 was farming. We didn't have rains. We had no electricity supply consistently over a period, and we were broke as a country. Yeah. So we've come far. Really.
A lot of Ghanaians, we are told, we're heading to Nigeria.
Back in the day, I was about 4 years old in 1983. So I used to eat the banku with it was yellow maize base. Yeah. And I used to eat it so fully because Charlie will take you some time before you eat the next meal. So eat the full.
Hey.
No. All right.
Let's see if we can get more stories on my Joe online. So outcome on Nyantakyi saga crucial to Ghana's image, and that's from Parliament's committee.
Yeah, it's on the BBC. It's been on the BBC since the dawn of yesterday.
Yeah.
And throughout each half hour, because Nyantakyi is mentioned. It's good that, well, we didn't go to the World Cup, so those are World Cup. At least we get mentioned on the BBC often.
Oh.
Yeah, football in Ghana is mentioned now prior to the World Cup because now it's Nigeria and...
I don't think any country will be proud of hearing.
No, I'm not talking about us. It's not about us being proud, but at least we get mentions. I mean...
This is negative mention.
Yeah. We're famous for the wrong reasons.
Unfortunately.
All right, so let's go to City Newsroom. So, Joseph will start with that.
It says Kweku. Okay, so there's a story on Kwesi Nyantakyi, but government intervenes, LPG operators call off strike. That's the first story. Kweku Eya set to replace Kwesi Nyantakyi as interim GFA boss. That is according to City FM, City Newsroom. And
Haji Fati's case, NPP wants out of court settlement. And Supreme Court settles Bimbala dispute, rules in favor of Na Dasana and Dani. So those are some stories there on City Newsroom. Facebook users troll Shatawali over eczema on his neck. Ghanaians most hardworking immigrants in the US. Let's see if we can go to the Africa page of the BBC. So, escaped Ebola patients taken to church. 2 of the 3 patients who were taken from the treatment center for prayers have died. You know, sometimes here in Africa, prayers, we always think that prayer can cure everything.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, Pastor Lukao?
No.
It's in South Africa. Pastor Alf Lukao.
Alf Lukao.
Is very powerful.
Is it?
South Africa. I watch his videos on YouTube all the time.
Can he cure Ebola?
I don't know.
Okay.
They're supposed to be able to cure everything.
What?
Yeah.
The pastors?
But God can cure. God cures.
You see, God can cure, but man, I don't think so.
Yeah, they said if you have faith, you can tell a mountain to move and it will move.
It will move.
That's how the pastors are operating.
But this one,
it didn't work. I mean, maybe they didn't have faith, those who had the Ebola.
But okay, it's okay. Yeah, so let's see. Do young Kenyans do enough to find jobs? And Africa Live hunt for South African prophets after cave deaths. Now, the decomposed bodies are believed to be members of the Zion Christian Church, and there are more stories on the BBC Africa page. See, I told you, Africa and prayers. Prayer is good. Prayer is very good. But, I mean, Ebola. I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, Benedict also is here with the latest sports headlines. But before then, let's try and Ghana FA boss returns to face investigation. Oh, Chad, this is nice. Let's click it. Click Ghana FA boss.
Roland seems to be interested in how the international media is reporting.
Oh yeah.
But
we didn't go to the World Cup, so we got mentions. I like that we're getting mentions internationally. Shows that at least we're known that football is good. It's only the administration we have difficulties with. It's not a problem. Benedict will bring our up to speed with the latest. Benedict is very close to
He has sources in the Football Association, you mean?
He's very close to the GFA.
So he can tell us more.
And by extension, Nyantakyi.
But I would be interested in how the Black Stars, they are coping. We know they are in camp. I think they have.
Which type of Black Stars?
The Black Stars.
They are real Black Stars.
They are helping. They are playing with the teams. I don't think they are helping the
Thomas
teams
Partey.
that will be playing the World Cup.
Blaster in there, is it proper Blaster or Team B?
No, but we are still building. We have the guy who scored 3 goals against Barcelona. He's in the squad.
But that guy, yeah, he scores every 5 years. He scores 3 goals or something. He doesn't score.
But I'm sure.
If you think I'm lying, ask Benedict.
I'm
told he's not prolific.
Oh really?
So he's not prolific.
He's still young, just 21. We are told.
That guy is 21. How old are you?
I'm more than 21.
Because you look like you're 18, but still you're more than. Don't say the guy is 21. Even Benedict, when you see him, the way he's standing, very
handsome.
Yeah, handsome but smallish in the body. That guy looks 18, but he's old.
Yeah, probably like 32.
Pay salary here.
He's Benedict's younger brother, we are told.
If it was football, he would be playing for under 15, I'm sure. Well, Benedict. So we have to introduce Benedict. Benedict, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, brother. How are you? And how are you guys?
Charlie, we're cool.
Okay.
We're good.
We're good.
How was your yesterday? Yesterday I called you, right?
Yeah, you called me yesterday.
And you said you were at the CID.
Yeah, I was at the CID office in Accra. It was just about the Nyantakyi issue. We're following up. So,
but give us a description. What happened? So how did he majestically get through the gates of? I don't know. Just
Well, yesterday, he was picked up at the airport. I understand that he was picked on the tarmac. So journalists. Some journalists were at the airport, were at the VIP section area just to catch a glimpse of him and also get pictures as well as visuals. But I understand he was picked on the tarmac straight to the CID office. I got to the CID office around 1. When I got there, he was already in, so we had to wait together with some other colleagues, journalists of mine. So we waited on the premises of the CID office, and after getting close to 5:30, that was when a police officer came, she gathered us, said that she was going to give us information that we were not supposed to record. So while she was talking to us, all we saw was that a police car was parked, which was like 100 meters away from where we were, and we saw that Mr. Nyantakyi quickly entered the car and they drove away. And the information I picked afterwards was that they took him to his house. They had a search warrant to go through and see if they could get other things.
Me, I haven't gone to school proper, but there were speculations that the announced investigation was about football, etc. But this time he would have put his house in order before he left to Morocco or Egypt. What was that? What's this infantile thing of taking him to his house? You would have arranged.
You would have to ask the police. So that's
or just standard procedure.
I can't tell, so we'll have to ask the police about that. But I mean, I'm just giving you the information that I had yesterday when I followed up the issue at the CID
So he was
office.
given bail?
Yeah, he's been granted bail now. So I understand that he reports to the CID office this morning as they continue investigations, but he was granted bail yesterday.
But what exactly are they holding him for?
Well, they are holding him for the
or charging him for
that? For the issue of false pretense. That's defrauding under false pretense. That he used the president's name, the president of the Republic of Ghana, now the Dankwa Akufo-Addo's name in defrauding people. So that's what is happening now. But we definitely will get more details to that, and definitely when it happens, our viewers and our listeners obviously will get to know everything that is going on. But Roland, it's not just about the Nyantakyi issue. There are other issues to talk about this morning. Ghana Premier League matches were played, and I heard you talk to my brother
Kofi.
Joseph
Akable.
Joseph this morning about the Black Stars in town, and they were preparing for their international friendlies, and was asking if Andrea, you and Jordan are in the team. Well, they are not in the team. But Kwesi Appiah has given opportunity to other players, 2 new players he named in this squad.
That's good.
Aside that, the Emmanuel Boateng is a new player coming into the team. The guy
Who's Emmanuel Boateng?
He plays club football for Levante.
The guy who scored the Barcelona goals?
Yeah, the hat-trick hero.
So this season, how many goals does he have?
He scored 7 in the in the how do you call it, Spanish La Liga.
He scored 7, 3 of them were against Barcelona.
Yeah, 3 of them.
So the whole season
against. Well, but it's good. I mean, it's good for his caliber. You look at the players in the Spanish La Liga. Lionel Messi will score 30-something goals, and if you have a Ghanaian who plays for a club like Levante, even in Portugal, he scored some great goals before joining this team, and he was a member of the under-20 team before, and this actually is his very first call-up to the Black Stars. So he and one other player from Bayern Munich team too, that's Kwesi Ochre. Those are the 2 new players. The other players in the team are players that have been called up before. Probably maybe if they play in this upcoming games, will get their 2nd or 3rd caps for Ghana.
All right, so we have to take a break. When we come back, Benedict also will be here with the latest. Do stay on.